Welcome back to another NBL Now. It is the off-season. We're continuing to catch up with players, coaches, general managers. Summer League is next week. It's a big time coming in NBL hoops in the off-season, but it is a lot for players who, they might be on holiday, they might be working out, or just coming back from holiday, and that's where DJ Vasiljevic joins me straight back off the plane. DJ, how was the holiday? Let's start there.
No, it was elite. Got a bit of colour, ate some great food, experienced a lot of things in Italy, Greece, and back home in Serbia. So, yeah, partner enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Now, obviously, back and got 4 weeks till the preseason starts. So, slowly getting back into things, but definitely worth some time away.
How important is it around this time? Because I know you're playing in the NBL 1 Central as well for the Eagles. So basketball all year round at such a high level. How important is it to have this kind of break? I'm sure you were doing something, or were you just completely say, you know what, I hoop too much. As long as I'm not going crazy eating, doing all of this, I'm just going to make sure that I can really switch off because I've got a big few months coming up.
Yeah, I think it was always a thing for me to go on holiday. I think I've never taken a holiday outside of basketball. You use the FIBA windows and all that to kind of travel different parts of the world, and you get to kind of explore other people's cultures but still play basketball. But this one was just travel the world, catch trains, catch planes, drive in Europe. It's just a whole different experience. So it's just a bit of mental refresh. And obviously Forestville knew that before they signed me. So I told them I was going to go on holiday for about 3-4 weeks. They go, as long as you meet the finals, required games, we're all good with it. So that's all that matters.
Well, now you're going to start to do that, suiting back up for the Eagles. And then it comes to preseason, really ramping up towards an NBL season where the 36ers have probably been the biggest headlines in the offseason in terms of their recruitment, the roster build. Now that it's all complete, what's your first impressions of this roster when you know who's going to be hitting the floor alongside you every single game?
Yeah, obviously when we signed Bryce, I didn't believe it. I thought Matt Weston was just trying to crack a joke with me on a Thursday night. But, when you get someone like that, in my opinion, is the greatest player to ever touch the floor in the NBL, without a doubt. And obviously he's still very young and in his prime. And, I look forward to sharing a backcourt with him. And then you go out and you get a few, locals early on in free agency that, got a bit of itch about them, and, have something to prove as well. So they'll be great role players for us. But then you go and get, Montrezl Harrell back, a fan favorite, not only for us, but the league, and then, Cheatham as well. So it's exciting. Obviously we've loaded up with coaches as well, with Luke Kane and with Kez. It's good to, reunite with Kez as well. So I look forward to obviously the preseason and obviously having a lot of fun throughout the year.
Let's touch on the Bryce one first, because obviously it was the one that had the shockwaves through not just Adelaide, but the entire league, worldwide, everywhere, because everybody was just shocked. And it's not just for a one-year deal, it's a multi-year deal. You mentioned sharing a backcourt with him. You've had to go against him now for so many years. You've had to see him put up some big numbers, especially against Adelaide last season. But now it's the other side. You know the defense is going to be gravitational towards Bryce. You know what he can do in the clutch. What are you really excited about being on the same team as him?
I just think how much gravity he's actually going to pull to himself. If you want to try double team him or, you want to load to the ball, you got to understand there's other people around that can make shots and kind of put the ball in the hole. And, everyone's going to question our defense, but I think at the end of the day, we all want to win. And you're only defined by championships and not MVPs and, all these all NBL teams. So I think we're going to really lock in and, Bryce being the head of the snake, we're going to lead. We're going to follow his lead and then just go from there. I'm just excited to play. I just got back from holiday, but still, I'm excited to get all the guys in. I've had discussions with Flynn Cameron as well. I look forward to having him in, and he's got a point to prove, and it's exciting times.
The Trez one came next, and again, we know that Trez and Bryce Cotton had a previous relationship from the Big East days in college. They spoke a lot last year, but Trez, you mentioned a fan favorite, a league favorite. He's also an unstoppable force on the floor. Getting him back, and then with Zylan Cheatham, who is a high flyer, and I don't think we got to see the best of Cheatham when he was here for the Breakers because of the injury. There's really, it seems like what this team can achieve is limitless.
Yeah, obviously I got in trouble posting a photo of me and Trez having a bit of fun, and obviously that's what created headlines. But obviously having Trez back, dominant force, good for the league, obviously good for us. Put bums on seats, especially kids. He loves the kids, interacts. But as you said, dominant force. And you talk about him, coming to Adelaide and falling in love with the game of basketball. And I think that's what Adelaide does to you. A lot of people crap on Adelaide or, bad management, it's not it, man. It's a whole different story once you get here. I went through it. It's a great spot. I don't know if I can cuss, but I just did. But same thing with Trez, like coming off an injury, no one, wanted to take a chance on him. But you know what? He found the love of the game. And then obviously you get Cheatham. Obviously played against him early when I came in Adelaide, got hurt, and then came back and then tried to find a rhythm. And yeah, it's exciting. Like I look forward to everyone coming in and, hopefully we can compete for a championship and yeah, hang a banner. And I don't know how long it's been now in Adelaide, probably like 25, 26 years, man. So I'm excited for it.
You talk about winning a title. You've been there. You've done that. You know what it takes to be able to achieve the ultimate success in the NBL. And when you've got a lot of talent on the team, it's going to come with sacrificing. Do you think that all the guys you've spoke to now, what you've seen from them in the past, everybody understands that, okay, our roles might change slightly because it doesn't matter in the end. As long as we're all celebrating a championship together, that's the one goal.
I think end of the day, that's really what it's about is like, how do we add, a championship to our resume? Obviously, I've won 2 of them and I know what it, takes and what it feels. And Bryce has won it. Like, I think we can start there and build on it. And, end of the day, that's what everyone wants. And, one day it'll be Bryce, one day it'll be Cheatham, one day it'll be Trez. Like, this kind of reminds me of what Sydney was like my first year. Everyone just, played a part. If it was someone's night, you go to them and then we all just fill the whatever spots we need to do. So I look forward to it. As again, the only thing will come down is how do we defend? How do we lock in? And I think, Mike will harp that very, highly come preseason.
What's it going to mean for your role? Because again, I've looked at this roster. There's no true point guard on there, but there's a lot of guys who can handle the ball in a combo guard setting. Bryce being one, Flynn Cameron can do it as well, Isaac White. Are we going to see the ball in your hands more? Is that something that you're going to look forward to as a challenge this year?
Yeah, I look forward to it, honestly. Like I've already started working on, different things as a point guard and passing and different types of finishes. And, Marco and Igor have led that. They're overseas right now with the under-20 squad. And, they want me to become probably one of the best combo guards in the league and, take the pressure off Bryce, bring it up or, help Flynn out. And, being, a vet, I've only played 5 years in the league, but, classified as a vet, how can I help this, group? And I think having the ball in my hands, not to score because, again, that's what I kind of do well, but just getting others involved, getting people to spots. And, yeah, it's a whole collective group that I'm working with the coach and stuff on, how do I improve my game in that aspect.
You mentioned also everyone's questions, okay, how does this team defend? Do you think that's the one challenge that's going to potentially hinder you guys from getting to the level you want to get to? It's as long as we can find how to defend at a high level. We've got no problem scoring the ball, but that's the one area that's going to be a focus.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happened last year. I mean, we were 10th in the league come, middle of the year in defense. And we all sat down and had that meeting. It was like, oh, what do we really want? So I think that needs to be said, once everyone's here first day, like, what do we really want to achieve? And, that comes on the defensive end. And all the championships I've won with Sydney, we've been either number 1 or number 2 defensively. That's it. Like, defense wins championships. We protect the paint, close out on threes. And how do we rotate? So, I look forward to it all. So that'll be the biggest, thing we have to touch on moving forward.
So the 36ers are done roster-wise, and we're seeing other pieces of the puzzle start to come together around the league. Sydney Kings are now completed. There's everybody else is slowly putting the finishing touches on it. Knowing what you know now, what could potentially arise, what game or matchup are you circling ahead of this year?
Oh, come on, bro. We know that already. I think it's 11th of October. We play Sydney at home. Like, they're going to, I wouldn't say welcome KD back, but, there's a rivalry there. Obviously, me and the Kings have a bit of history and, they have a big 3. I think we got a big, 4-5, like whatever you want to call it. I think it's a matchup early on that people want to see. And, that's for us, that's probably the biggest one. And obviously, Adelaide Entertainment today, it's going to be sold out, Pete. Hopefully, you're calling that game with Copes and, whoever else comes along. But it's going to be a cracker. I think, obviously, the roster we've got, I don't think there's going to be a spare seat in the house at all.
I love that you've said that because, again, we see some players, again, shy away from that, maybe not even answering the question. But it seems what Adelaide did last year, even with Trez being there, the theatre of pro sports, the theatre of rivalries, wanting these matchups for whatever reason, players changing teams like KD, you with Sydney, Bryce, I'm sure when you go back to Perth, rather than shying away from it, it's, hey, everyone's going to we have a target on our back. We understand that. We've got the talent and we're here for it. We want the challenge. We want to thrive on this.
Well, that's how the league grows, man. Like you talk about all this publicity and media and, how do we, advertise for a big game and sell tickets? This is what it is. Like you see it in the NBA, they change teams like it's nothing. People do request a trade and all this and that. And, that's what the NBL is all about now. You got the throwdown. It's not really, United's throwdown anymore. Like Southeast has taken it to them the last few times. So that's the rivalry. Obviously, Bryce now with Perth and my continuation with Sydney. You got the Sunshine Stoush. Cairns have beaten Brisbane a few times too. Like it's everyone can beat everyone in this league, and as Homicide said, it ain't no cupcake league, man.
No, it's not. I'm already looking forward to those matchups. I hope I am in there in Adelaide because the entertainment centre you mentioned is going to be rocking. I know the memberships, we're seeing it all exceeding expectations. How do we get some more people into these games? Because they're going to be knocking down the door in Adelaide.
It was funny. I was just on the phone with a sponsor, and they're like, "Man, there's going to be people hanging off the rooftops and wanting to buy a ticket." But that's just what it is. We hold 10,000, so I'm telling Malinowskis now, like, either build us an arena in the next year or two so we can continue to sell tickets, or first come, first serve. That's just really how it is. And I know there's going to be a lot of requests from close friends and family of people wanting to come, but hey, end of the day, we only get given what we get given. So get your ticket fast and pay for it.
You did look after my family last year for a couple of tickets. I'm not sure I'm going to get that same allowance this year, but we'll see what happens.
We'll put them in the family suite this year with my partner and a few others, and make sure we hit the Legends room, have a good bottle of wine after a game. So,
preaching to the choir there, man. I'm loving all that. I do want to ask you as well, because there have been a lot of announcements. There's obviously the European games are coming up. There's a connection there with you. Are you excited about hitting that and testing yourself against Europe's best before obviously hitting the season?
Well, 100%. Obviously, look at Panathinaikos. They've, again, reloaded. They got TJ Short now, who's probably one of the best guards in Europe in general. They got Kendrick Nunn, EuroLeague MVP. Matisse Lazort coming back, like, he's a beast. And then obviously Partizan, obviously me being Serbian and a bit of history there. They were actually going to offer me a contract in my first year after the season before I did my Achilles. So I played against their captain Vanja Marinkovic growing up in like the 70s and 90s. So there's a bit of history there, and it's going to be a cracker game, obviously in Sydney as well. A big Greek community, big Serbian community as well. So hopefully we can sell tickets and people come out and enjoy what I think is a great step moving forward for the NBL, getting Euro teams out, and obviously the NBA teams as well in Melbourne.
Another big step and another announcement while you're away was the Ignite Cup in-season tournament. Now, they are just obviously extra games, which we're all stoked about. We get to see the Adelaide 36ers in action more. But at the end of it, there is some
money. There is money to be played for. And again, obviously the games do count. And again, you want to win, but at the end of the day, there is money. So I think that's what's going to be a big motivator for a lot of people moving forward.
Well, you took the words out of my mouth. I knew you were going to answer that. That's why I asked it. DJ, it's great to have you back, man. And I'm sure we'll catch up with you soon. Blitz is coming our way. The European games are coming, he said, the NBA and then the NBL 26 season. So good luck with everything. We'll see you soon.
I appreciate it, man. It's exciting times for the NBL.